Famously, at least for a while, Russell Brand would, like, pre-gig, be quite well known for the fact that he would go and do a massive poo and then he wouldn't flush it. That was like his
dominance thing.
I don't know. Like, it was just his
That was
thing.
his brand.
That was his brand. A giant floating shit was his brand.
There you go. That's Russell's brand right there. Shit. Right for my bum.
Russell's got a new special coming out now that he's gone down this rabbit hole of COVID conspiracies. Guess what his special is called?
I swear I'm not a cult leader.
So think about what we've just been through and think about it's a pun, and like it's one that I would be proud of.
Scamdemic?
You're close. So think of
Brandemic.
Brandemic.
That's fucking shit, Demic. That's terrible. Brandemic. I mean, it's kind of like one of those. It's like saying flag mantle, it's taking two words that aren't related and the meaning doesn't actually give you a third meaning. It's just like two things that people might recognize.
It was a pandemic and he's Russell Brand, so it's a brandemic.
But I guess the show's not going to be all about COVID being a lie, or
I believe it is.
Current position.
From the clips I've seen of it seems to be.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's an interesting descent. It's weird, isn't it? Because
it's just a pivot. It's not a descent. He's massive. Like, he's probably as big as he's ever been. He controls his own world and his own destiny. Yeah. Like, I'm not into it. Like, I think it's disappointing because I think he actually is a pretty good thinker. And I think that most of the things that he's saying at the moment are dumb. Like, that's not true. There's some, the reason it works is that, 80% of the time he probably says things that make a whole bunch of sense. And then it's just the extreme stuff that is,
Well, it just feels like sometimes, though, the way we've traditionally perceived the right and left have swapped hats a few times. Oh, yeah, so totally. It's like, it's very confusing to know, like, those traditional views.
It's a big, it's a big market. That
being a right wing commentator,
there's a lot of money in it.
100%. I mean, we've talked about this. We want to start our science YouTube channel where we just attack.
It just becomes more and more evidence. Like, often you look at somebody like a Russell Brand and you just think, or a Jimmy Dore or whoever, and you just think.
I mean, Jimmy Dore's the one I don't fucking understand.
Mate,
like I used to do fucking real quick
open mic with Jimmy Dore around LA, and I quite like Jimmy Dore. I was like, he was a good guy.
Yeah, I thought Dave was mates with him as well.
Yeah,
I was watching his YouTube channel for a bit, like 2 or 3 years ago, and being, he's pretty hardcore leftist. Right. But then I got to know, like, Jimmy got to eat,
and Jimmy's eating well. Like, Jimmy eat well. Like, Jimmy, it's been incredible for him. Like, really, like, I mean, and people say, oh, it's a grift. Russell Brand's a grift, Jimmy Dore's a grift. Yeah, maybe, but the reason that they're all doing it is because it's a really successful grift.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, look at fucking Andrew Tate and those sort of people. Like, there's
a couple of left-wing commentators I watch and follow, and they say that, the reason why there's so many it's much more profitable to do this, to spout right-wing propaganda, and you'll get a bigger audience and further reach than doing left-wing propaganda. And it's hilarious that they're constantly taking the underdog status, or like, we're getting cancelled, we're getting dominated out of existence. It's like, what are you talking about? You control everything. You're living
in a gold castle where you broadcast 95 hours a day.
And the dynamics are so strange around that. It's funny too, because I've tried to take in less of it, because I forgot there was a period of time where anytime I was like, washing the dishes or whatever, because I've got YouTube Premium, so I can listen to YouTube like a podcast. So I'd go into like a political commentary kind of YouTube channel, and left or right, after a while I'd get exhausted, because it feels like I feel like the same conversation keeps going around and around, and I hear it in, like, I'm getting yelled at in both my left and right side.
Everyone's talking, but nothing is happening. Like, nothing's changing,
but there's so much about it is point scoring, like commenting on, so the left will comment on the right and make fun of what they've said and blah, blah, blah. And the right will do that to the left. Yeah. And it's just this constant, like as
pantomime.
It's a pantomime. As if someone is kind of keeping score.
There's different sides of the same dumb battle. It's all
Yeah.
Like,
But
I
I
mean,
must admit though, like I love a conservative cell phone tweet, where it's like, oh, look what this dickhead said. You do get a rush of like, I don't know, dopamine or adrenaline, but it's so fleeting. And then
well,
it's like,
here's what I will say to you, Charlie. And again, I've been trying not to mention this, but I don't know if I've mentioned, but I'm not on social media anymore.
I was
But,
unaware of that.
yeah, well,
It comes as a real shock.
I'm sorry to.
This is the biggest shock as finding out that this jury is not real.
Remember at the start of this podcast when we were having that annual general meeting and you were like, have you seen the really good TOEFOP clips that are on Instagram? And I was like, no, I did not know they existed. But yeah, somebody sent me recently like a screenshot of something that had happened online. And it was of Prue McSween. Do you know, is that her name? Yeah. So she's like your classic Australian old conservative woman who's always spouting off some
So she's so uncompassionate. What's the word?
Yeah,
like discompassionate.
That's it. Yeah, like she is
lacking in compassion,
lacking in all compassion and empathy for other human beings. And she, I think when Tina Turner died, she tweeted, about Tina Turner being great, and then signed it off with R.E.S.P.E.C.T. RESPECT, which is not Tina Turner. That was Aretha Franklin. And so people found that very amusing that this, idiot had self-owned herself with this dumb tweet. And then everybody thought about it, and she said she meant it on purpose. She just meant she respected Tina Turner. It wasn't like about related anyway. Like,
that's a good defense.
It was like,
I mean, it's a huge coincidence if true.
Yeah. But so this all happened. And what I realized is, from just getting from a little bit leaking out into my world, that there would have been a time when I saw that tweet, I would have been like, aha, ha ha, that person I don't like did something dumb. And now we can all feed on the energy of mocking that person that we all don't like.
To see the full video, join our Patreon.
Patreon.com/TOEFOP.